My name is Beth Hutchens. I'm the wife of Sergeant Mickey Hutchens, who was a Winston-Salem police officer for 27 years. He was a family man and a church man, and we lived out here in the country, and we're generally just happy. We met at the police department. Mickey was a young officer, and I was communications operator. We were married and had 2 girls.
You try not to think about the fact that they may not come home. You try not to dwell on that. You have to look at the glass being half full, or else you're gonna go crazy. He was my dad. He was a superhero. He was invincible in my eyes. Nothing bad was ever gonna happen to my dad. And I think that's the way all little kids look at their dads.
Frequently, he discussed with me what I should do if anything ever happened to him. And he even brought it up 3 weeks or so before his death and said, if anything happens to me, here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you do. And I said, Mickey, we're at retirement. I'm not gonna worry about this anymore. And then here 3 weeks later, you know, he'd be retiring this month if this hadn't happened.
On the morning of October 7th, 2009, that was the day I was shot. That morning, I went to work. I was traveling the highway, and very strangely, I got behind a vehicle, and it was a personalized license plate, and it said death. I didn't think about it at the time, but maybe at that point I thought maybe I should turn around and go home. When I got to work, a 911 call came out for an alarm, and the business was a restaurant, which was directly beside the location we were at. We went to the restaurant, and we were told that there was a wanted subject inside the restaurant and that he had been harassing his wife. As we entered the restaurant, he fled from us on foot.
Mickey had jumped out of his car and closed 30 feet to the suspect, who was fleeing, and they did not know he had a gun. And Mickey had closed that distance in less than 5 seconds, and as soon as he was ready to tackle the guy turned and shot him in the face.
We were ambushed. The first shot struck Sergeant Hutchens in the face. The second round struck me in the chest. I fell to the ground. While I was on the ground, he shot me in the head. My training completely took over. I drew one hand and fired at the suspect.
When you walk into the ER where Dad and Daniel were in the trauma bays, I saw somebody with a gunshot wound to the head. And Dad's face was so covered in blood, and there were so many tubes coming out of him that I didn't recognize him. When we realized what was going to happen to Dad, I pulled his best friend over to the side, and his best friend's retired police as well. And I asked him, I said, Bobby, do I need to call my landlord and tell him that I'm going to be moving home? And he said, no, you don't need to worry about that. Your mother will be taken care of.
The PBF salary replacement came very, very quickly. As soon as we called and made the claim, it seemed like it was there within a week or so. We were able to use it to, you know, the tax bill was due and things like that. Things that people don't realize if you don't have a regular income, because everything's held up because of regulations and things like that. And see, it takes 6 months for the workers' comp to kick in, and in our case, it took 8.5 months for the federal people to get the federal awards straightened out. So if you're not getting money into the hands of a family that has house payments, has insurance payments, has growing kids, and they need to feed them and put clothes on them, and you know, you can run out of money, you know, very, very quickly in those circumstances if you're talking about not having anything immediately available to you.
I wish you knew what it was like to be a police family. I wish you knew how awesome my dad was.
I wish you knew how good a family man Mickey was and how well he took care of his family. I wish that all people knew how fair a police officer he was and how good a job he did. And I wish that, you know, that everybody could have a chance to meet him at that point and see how good he was at that.